So, our smidgens has changed since we did the kale one, just a little bit. Mostly because I got stuck in and got these beds planted out in between doing my shifts at work and stuff like that. I just didn't have enough time to do films or anything, like I explained in the kale video, with using boron and the other amendments to inoculate the soil and mitigate hollow stem and everything like that. I did it with the broccoli bed that's in here. Same with sprouting broccolis, the cabbages and the cauliflowers have all been planted in the beds right next to where you guys are, right there. Celery bed, we did not. And I did not use a plastic mulch, mostly because it's so densely planted. Once it creates its canopy, it's going to block out the weeds anyway. That being said, celery is a huge feeder and it's also a bulk plant, so it likes having not so much wet feet, but it likes damp soil all the time, opposed to tomatoes that don't like wet feet. So in the lead up to the celery bed, I inoculated that bed 5 times over with the fungi, the bacteria, the bacillus, and heavy nitrogen, just to keep that growth going. And then the other day, after doing all that, with all that's been going on, I've slowly let this place get dirtier and dirtier and weeds grow more and more. So it's been a good day just cleaning stuff up, and it's not so felt like I've gone nowhere, but I did. The other afternoon, I started the prep in this bed, and today we need to do the prep in this bed and amend both beds themselves. So first, we need to rip up all this broccoli that I've just let go crazy. Kia ora whanau, I'm Mitch, this is Dirt Rich Life. Hoaki tātou. Let's get into it. Probably could save some of these get out of it. Bloody stink bugs. Ugh. That's the biggest reason why you see around this garden we've got all the nets and stuff like that, because the stink bugs, the white butterflies, and then I put shade cloth over top because I noticed after transplanting a few of these plants, they didn't look happy, and it's been quite warm lately, and I said that in the last video. I knew that was going to happen. Don't think we can keep this one or that one. There's actually some really good side shoots on these guys. It's amazing what happens when you kind of just forget about plants and neglect them a little bit. Oh, this guy's not happy. Some of them are trying to bolt. Oops, probably shouldn't have thrown that. Bolted. Sort of bolted. Very small though. This collie is just didn't want to develop in time. Bolting, bolting, bolting. That one's not too bad. Not flash, but not bad. Stink bugs. Ugh. Bloody stink bugs. I think we might have a baby kid in here. Very tiny one. Oh, he's so cute. Whoop. I want to try and leave as much roots behind as possible like that. That's what we want. Leaving the roots behind when you pull them out, it's going to add to the biomass in the soil. It will also save that fungal network that would have developed with the root system, that symbiotic relationship that they create. That will still be in there. If you rip all those roots out, you're going to disturb that fungal network. Not a bad thing. It will reestablish itself. Nature's a lot more robust than we give it credit for in some instances, but it does help. But I am failing at doing it though. These broccolis just don't want to give up the roots. Oh, there we go. But because I've also got onions and beetroots going in here next, I don't want to leave too much chunky stuff behind either. Oh. Yuck. Now this is what I was talking about with the boron and you end up with your hollow stem. This is what happens. Right there. So you'll have that hollow stem. It'll be okay while the plant's growing itself, but when you harvest that main head, it leaves that hollow stem. That then becomes a pool, basically. Water sits there, turns rancid, get brown rot. Same thing will happen with the head that you've harvested. Once you'll get into the inside of the stem and start to rot it out and go foul, really foul. It smells so bad. And that is a boron deficiency. And I just got it all over my hands. Yummy. And the whole reason I'm putting all this effort into this is so that when we go to sell these to you guys, well, here in Aotearoa, specifically in Mairohi, my area, and Huntly, starting here, is that all the soil prep and everything we do is going to create vegetables that are so nutrient dense, and I'll be able to sell them far cheaper than anywhere else, so that families can actually get proper organic food that is nutrient dense, that isn't just grown on farms that are thrashed with synthetic fertilizers. And they have these veggies that just turn the crap on them within a week of buying them, because it's already been about 3 weeks by the time they actually buy them from the supermarket. The customers will be buying these vegetables will be buying these vegetables within 24 hours of them being harvested. And they'll be harvested and prepped in a way that the customer could, if stored properly, they can store it up for a month and still be very fresh. I just need everyone to get on board. Start creating awareness of this channel. Start creating a community that we can all work together to make this work. It's not just going to benefit me, it's going to benefit everyone else. I can't wait for that to happen. I feel like I've left a staple behind. That's a big ass leopard slug. He's going all shy. Much like me on a cold day. He's not showing his true form. But leopard slugs aren't like your normal slugs. They will eat all the other slugs that actually attack all your vegetables. That being said, when they run out of food sources, they will have a nibble on your vegetables. So much of a muchness whether to keep them in there or not. But they are handy. They are handy to have around. Next, we need to broad fork it. Soil's pretty loose as it is, but it doesn't hurt to broad fork it. Get some air through the soil. And then we'll amend it. Today we're going to be amending it with sheep and chicken pellets, blood and bone, sulfate of potash, boron, and the usual mycorrhizal inoculant and bacillus inoculant as well. As the beds raked and broad forked and then hydrated, as you would have seen in that time lapse, that I hydrated at first, it looked all wet, but as soon as I raked it, it was drier within the first centimetre underneath it. That's because the soil's gone hydrophobic from being dry for so long. So generally, you want to do that a couple of times over, especially when you're prepping a bed, and especially when you need to put in the likes of your sulfate of potash or any other type of fertilizer or amendment that's going to be a little bit granular. The wetter the soil, the damper it is, the better it's going to break down, and the better the environment for the microbes to break it down and make it bioavailable for the plants once you plant them out. What you doing?
I can feel the bed.
No, you stay here. Come here. It's slipping down. Here, buddy.
I'm looking in the mirror.
You're talking in the mirror. First thing we're going to do the sulfate of potash, which is a really good source of potassium, which is really good for root growth. So these being root vegetables, it's going to do them a world of favour. The sulfur side of the sulfate of potash is going to do the onions a world of favour, adding to the flavour content of that.
Salt peas, I want the saw.
Yeah.
And then the chainsaw.
What?
The chainsaw.
You reckon?
Add a chainsaw this.
Right, so we want to add it about, yeah, a cup. Try and evenly spread this over each bed. A cup to each. Let's see how well we can do this. Alrighty, not too bad.
Now, some more.
Yeah, some more for the other bed.
Little more. Little too much. Yeah, all done.
All done. All right, let's get over. Right, you can stay there.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I can stay here. Now put this one. And look what chickens. Dad,
Mm.
little chickens. So I can see the chickens?
Yeah, it's chickens.
Yeah.
It's because there's chicken poop in there.
Can
All
I
right.
try?
No, yucky. Well, make sure you wash your hands now.
Yeah.
Always make sure you wash your hands when you touch this stuff. So next we'll put in the sheep and chicken pellets. It's just an all-round good balanced fertilizer, but it's also going to help with adding structure to the soil, increasing that microbiome activity, and just all-round goodness. No, don't smell.
Yummy, Dad.
No, it's not.
Yummy.
It's bad for you.
Yeah.
It'll make you sick. All right, let it go. And next, we need blood and bone. Blood and bone is a really good source of nitrogen and phosphorus as well. Phosphorus also helps with root development, but all round just plant strength and resistance to stress too. No, it's not, buddy. It's all right. So you want to do
A little more.
there you go. All right, leave that.
Here you go.
About 3 cups to each bed. Stop sticking your nose in there, bud. No more. Keep telling you.
And sticking is this. Yours,
Stop playing with it.
this one.
And now we rake it in. Oops, there's still some in there. And then we inoculate it with the mycorrhizal fungi and other fungi, and the bacillus and the boron. Yeah, you know. Hey, buddy. You know.
Yeah.
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 Hey, you're silly. You silly. Let's start playing with the fertilizers. Hey? You reckon? No, we just did your swimming class today. It's not for another week, buddy. Alright. Yeah. Alright, there we'll be back. So as I said before, in here we've got bacillus, mycorrhizal fungi, several different strains of both. Got boron, and then I also put some liquid compost in here too. Now with the boron, with the likes of your onions and beetroots, they will benefit heaps from it. But if you use too much of it, it'll actually become toxic to the plants and you end up killing them. So use it sparingly if you're going to prep your beds for boron for your beetroot and your onion. Man, I'm sorry. And then next, irrigation again. Set that up, and then tuck these guys away with a panda film and let them stew for the next week, week and a half. Alright, so partway through trying to do the irrigation, I realized I don't have any teas, 30 ml teas. I thought I had a whole other packet. So that was a bit of a fail. Irrigation's gonna have to wait for another day. But it's the 2 beds amended and covered at least anyway, and ready for irrigation and then sowing in the next week or so. Other than that, haere rā, see you in the next one.